So, the strategy that I chose to demonstrate today is found in chapter 24 of our text, and it is the cognate strategy. I chose this strategy because, as our textbook mentions, 30 to 40% of all words in English have a related word in Spanish. And as you know, there's a lot of Spanish speaking students in many of the schools in our areas. And I also happen to speak Spanish, so I figured this was a perfect strategy to demonstrate today. Now, you can use the strategies with different languages, not just Spanish, but as I said, I speak Spanish, and there's a large number of Spanish speaking children in our area, so I figured I would demonstrate it with Spanish. So I will start off by telling my students that today is the first day in a larger unit in which we're going to be studying the animals of the Galapagos Islands as our science for the next couple of weeks. So to introduce the topic, I'm going to be reading this book to them, which is called Lonesome George Finds His Friends. And I will tell them to all gather in the reading area and to also bring their writing journals with them. I will explain to them that for this lesson, we're going to do something a little bit different. I'll tell them that because we have a lot of Spanish-speaking friends in the class who are trying to learn English, we're going to do something today to help them learn English a little bit more as we also study about the animals in the Galapagos. So then I will show them the board behind me, which will be a huge board, obviously, if I'm in a classroom. But for today, it's on this little board here. So I will show them, I'll tell them to notice that I have this list here of words, and some of them are in Spanish and some of them are in English. And I'll explain that a lot of these words are all of these words are going to be found in the text that we're going to be reading today. So I will point to the first word on the list in Spanish, which is tortuga, and I will ask one of the Spanish-speaking students to please read the word for me. So once they read the word, then I will ask one of the English proficient students to read the word in English, which is tortoise. And then I'll explain to them that these words mean the same exact thing, and we'll talk about the meaning of the words. And then I'll point out how the spellings and how the sounding of the words are almost exactly the same. They'll notice that T-O-R-T is the same in Spanish as the T-O-R-T of the English word. So I'll explain to them that this is called a cognate and that using cognates will help us learn the meaning of words in different languages, in this case, Spanish. So then I'll point to the next word on the list in Spanish and have one of the Spanish-speaking friends read it for us, the word is planeta. And in English, I'll have somebody read planet. Then I'll point out that as the kids can see, there's only one letter difference in the word, and that's the A. In Spanish, it's planeta, and in English, it's planet. We'll talk about the meaning of the word, and we'll talk about how similar the words sound and how similar their spellings are. And we'll go down the list and do animales and animals. That's plural, but if you're going to say the singular of animal, it's pretty much an exact cognate because animal and animal, same spelling. Then we'll go to león and lion and roca and rocks. So I will leave this up on the board and have students copy this list in their journals. And then I'll begin the reading of the book, and I'll ask them if they happen to notice any other word that might be a cognate. They could write it in their writing journals and keep the list going. So I'll begin the reading. I'm only going to read a few pages for the purposes of this demonstration, but just so that we can get the gist of it. It says, I am a lonesome George. I am a giant Galapagos tortoise from the islands of Pinta. I am almost 100 years old. And it's really great, the illustrations, especially for the ELLs. They'll see the word tortoise and they'll see the picture, which is great. The Galapagos tortoise is one of the largest types of tortoises on the planet. There's our other cognate word. Some have weighed over 500 pounds. I live on the Galapagos Island. I am the only tortoise of my kind left here. Sometimes it gets lonely, but there are lots of other animals living on the Galapagos. Because I am cold-blooded, I feel chilly when I wake up. I need the sun to warm me. When I go to the beach, I meet a young Galapagos sea lion. When he is not swimming, he likes the sun on the shore too. And then I'll show them the picture of the sea lion. When I am done warming up, I look around the beach. There are a lot of animals to see. Animals, there's the word. This is a sea turtle. We may look alike, but sea turtles spend almost their whole lives in the ocean. This female turtle has come ashore only to lay her eggs. And I'll continue to read the book and have students notice, or either I will point out any new cognates that they could add to their list. Besides this, I would probably have a chart up in my classroom that would be permanently there, and we could keep adding our cognates to the list as we come across them in any subject or any text that we're reading. And then one idea that I really like from the book is a cognate jail. One of the teachers had a false cognate list that he put in a chart called the cognate jail. So this is like for false cognates, words that may sound or look the same but have totally different meanings. So that would be something kind of fun. And an example of that would be, let's see, the word embarrassed in English versus embarazada in Spanish. So embarrassed is embarrassed, obviously, and in Spanish, the word is embarazada actually means to be pregnant. So totally different meanings, but words like that we would put in our cognate jail. Thank you.